everyone, and welcome to episode number 97 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode, we do have the Zealand derby. We take on BATE Borisov in the third qualifying round of the Champions League, and we're also going to keep an eye out on how the other Icelandic teams do get on in this third qualifying round as well in the lower tiers of the UEFA competition. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But before we do get into this tie against BATE, a few things to cover off before we do get into it. First off, apologies for the lack of an intro today, but I got thrown upon me last night. I need to drop my parents off to the airport fairly soonish, so I am kind of rushing this one, but did feel like I needed to get a video in today, things we did miss one earlier this week. But we are first off going to recap what we have done domestically since the end of yesterday's episode, which was a big one. We ran through the new squad here at Völsungur, did the end of the transfer window, and played the second qualifying round tie against FK Sarajevo. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. But domestically, we continue to perform very well. We actually played two games that we need to recap you guys on, because I didn't bring you guys the result of the one which we did play in between those leagues against Sarajevo in yesterday's episode, but it was a very, very comfortable win there, 7-1 against Nuts KR. They did get a late red card, but the damage had well and truly already been done by that stage. A lot of goals from our boys there, picking up a very comprehensive 7-1 win against the team who are in Conference League qualifying in today's episode as well. So that is a very good result domestically against a fellow European team. And off the back of that, coming in to this tie against BATE, we took on a team right down at the bottom of the league at the moment. They have yet to win a game, and that does continue, albeit a little bit scrappier than we would have liked, picking up a 2-0 win away at Vestmannasia, thanks to goals from Nygaard in the first half and Chaka Traore in the second half. So we have still not dropped a single point domestically so far this season, a massive goal differential advantage, and we are 14 points clear of Akranes in second, HK just behind them, followed by Filkir, Velarevic and Keflavik. So far, those six teams do look to be fighting out for those 5 European spots come the end of this season, albeit Nuts KR aren't that far behind, but it does look like at the moment those 6 teams are fighting for the remaining 4 European spots. We are in a very, very strong position with only 8 games left in the domestic season. But today we are taking on BATE Borisov. It is the Zealand derby. Of course, BATE Borisov, a team quite famous in terms of football manager-wise for being the team that Zealand did quite well with over on Twitch a few seasons ago. And today we take them on, the bloke from New Zealand, with a team which is really the longest term save that we have done for a single club here on this channel so far. They are a team that we did defeat in Conference League knockouts a few seasons ago very comfortably as well. So I would like to think this is a team that we can beat fairly well in today's episode, as long as we do perform a little bit better than we did in the first leg of that tie yesterday against Sarajevo. Hopefully we can carry our form over from the second leg of that one and put a good show on against the team that we have beaten before in the Conference League knockouts. Another reminder of what else is happening today in terms of the other Icelandic teams, though. First off, we go down to the Conference League. We make our way down a little bit. The team that we did beat 7-1 not that long ago, Nuts KR, they do enter Conference League qualifying. They take on Kukesi of Albania. Unfortunately, Keflavik did suffer defeat off the back of yesterday's episode, as we expected, going out in the end 4-2 on aggregate to Hibernian of Scotland. So just the one team in Conference League qualifying for now in this third qualifying round, Nuts KR taking on the Albanian outfit. But back up to the Europa League, one team will be joining them for the Conference League playoff. That is because somehow we have ended up with both Icelandic teams in the Europa League qualifying, taking each other on. Filkir versus HK. Filkir come into this one fresh into European football. HK off the back of a defeat to Copenhagen, a very narrow one in the second qualifying round of the league path of the Champions League. So you would probably think that based on that, HK are the favourites, but it will be interesting, especially because HK have just sold one of their better players to a team who we could actually end up playing in tomorrow's episode, because we have had the draw already for the playoff. I say tomorrow's episode, the start of next week, because we are taking on the winner of the tie between Hammarby, that is the team that have bought one of HK's best players in Dylan Högerwerth, and Midtjylland, both teams that we did beat in the third qualifying round and the playoff of our path to the Champions League group stage in last year's European season. So quite comfortable with that draw that we have got. That should be two teams we are capable of beating. Midtjylland have given us a few more headaches in the past than Hammarby, but that could be an interesting tie coming up at the start of next week. But we do look like to have a nice little path going through to the group stage of the Champions League once again. But today we take on BATE, as I said, a team we've got a pretty good history against, we've got a higher reputation than these guys at this point as well. I'm pretty sure the last time that we did take them on, when we did defeat them in the knockouts of the Conference League, our reputation was actually lower, but this time it is higher. No real familiar names in amongst this team, and hopefully we can get the job done over them after they only just squeaked past Glentoran in the second qualifying round of their Champions Path tie. In yesterday's episode, no injuries or suspensions for us to deal with going to this one, so it will be the same team that we did roll out for both legs there against Sarajevo, and we will come back shortly from the Blund Stadion for the first leg of this third qualifying round tie away from home. And 2 minutes gone, we've got the first highlight of this tie. It is a corner in our favour. We try and pick out Paolo there at the near post, can't quite find him, but in the end, Zimmerman does get the ball back for us here, and we do look to launch a counter attack. That's a great shot there from Caviglia, comes off the upright, can't quite find its way into the back of the net. That was a very close run thing, but after 2 minutes, the scoreline does remain 0-0, but encouraging signs here away in Belarus. And only a few minutes later, we are back on the attack here, hopefully with a throw-in inside the half here of BATE. They are in the yellow, we are in our green Northern Lights uniform, and Fredrik Larsson cutting inside. Nice ball there for Zimmerman, but his shot is straight at Chikan in goal there for BATE, but encouraging signs, albeit still 0-0 after 6 minutes. And up to the 13-minute mark now, it is another throw-in, albeit this time inside the final third. We can't quite link up with a teammate, and BATE are going to have to play out from the back, albeit that clearance will be dealt with very comfortably there by Thiago Polo, already on a yellow card, so we might have to take him off for Ramadan at half-time. Good time of the year to be bringing on Ramadan, but there is our opening goal. Caviglia slotting through Benjamin Rubio, and it's a simple tap in there into the bottom left corner, and after 13 minutes, it has been coming, and we do get a 1-0 lead here away from home. A much better start than we did make in the first leg of yesterday's episode. Good short passing. Matthews to Caviglia to Rubio. Just has to tap that in to the bottom left corner, and we are 1-0 up, just shy of the 15-minute mark. And up to the 35-minute mark now, we do have our next highlight. Hopefully we can grab a cushion goal here nice and early in this tie before halftime. And Benjamin Rubio, good chance for him there, but he tries to chip the goalkeeper way too much on that. Still 1-0 Völsungur, 10 minutes shy of halftime. And that is half-time in the away leg of this tie. We do hold a nice 1-0 lead. We probably should be up by potentially one or more goals than that, though it has been complete domination from us so far, albeit very happy with that after what did happen in the first leg against Sarajevo away from home. In yesterday's episode, Thiago Paolo was actually playing quite well at the back, but we'll take him off with that yellow card. Ali Ramadan to come on for him, the young Congolese defender, one of our subs used at halftime, but hopefully we can keep up our play and get a few more goals here in the second half and build on that 1-0 lead. And up to the 54-minute mark for our first highlight here of the second half, and yet again we are on the attack so far. BATE throwing absolutely nothing at us that has to be concerning for them here in their home league, but we do not mind at all. Hopefully though, we can get a few more balls here in the back of the net. Nice one there for Caviglia, but his shot straight at Chikan. They clear that for a throw-in, and somehow we are still only 1-0 up here 10 minutes into the second half. And not too long off the back of that first chance in this half, Satole with a free kick, into Plisco gets his head on the end of that, and finally we do get our cushion goal yet again. It has been coming. This has been a really good performance from us here away from home, and it is now 2-0 Völsungur, just shy of the hour mark. Far post free kick to Plisco on the end of it. 2-0 Völsungur away from home in the first league. And shortly off the back of that, we do have another free kick. This time Galtason will take it, but this time too much weight on it, and Chikan in goal can claim that there for BATE. That's a brilliant name for a goalkeeper, Chikan. And there's a bit of a mess there at the back from us. Matthews tried to get the interception, fell back to Umulov. They'll put this far post here for Kutik. It goes into the mixer, and somehow Pavel Boylarchik has opened the scoring for BATE, and that has come completely out of nowhere. That is not what we needed. We've been so well in control of this game so far, but that goal coming more or less out of nothing. Their first attack of the game, it was a missed interception there by Matthews before, and then Galtason with a bit of a poor header, and all of a sudden 2-1 Völsungur at the hour mark. And 8 minutes later, we are back down the other end with a free kick of our own. Interesting to see as we do keep possession there that Hammarby are winning 2-0 away from home against Midtjylland. That is a little bit of a surprising result considering the different form of those two teams that we have encountered throughout this save so far. Of course, Midtjylland gave us a little bit of trouble in a Europa League group a few seasons ago, taking quite unexpected points off Atletico Madrid, which meant that they did finish second in that group above us. But it is BATE having a little bit of a spell here in possession. We would like another goal here because despite our quite obvious dominance in this tie so far, they are still in this one, BATE, off the back of that goal earlier. But here's a chance for Rubio to slot one away, and we have our two goal cushion back here because Benjamin Rubio is able to put that in the bottom right corner off the lofted ball there from Caviglia. He picks up yet another assist that came from the one header there from Duplisco. Meza to Satole right on the halfway line. Nicolosi spots the run of Rubio, slots it in the bottom right corner. It is now 3-1 Völsungur with 20 minutes left, and we are going to make our first substitution at this stage as well. Caviglia playing very well, but down to a red. Hart Goffey on for him. 2 goals up here with 20 minutes left of the away leg. And up to the 77-minute mark now, we are going to make our last substitution. I think we'll take off Nicholas Zimmerman of the players on Red Hearts because he is just coming back still from that big injury he did suffer in the Europa League. We've got a few options here on the bench, but I think the goal-scoring touch of Fabio Maliano might be better suited for the remainder of this game. That's our last sub. We have upped the tempo trying to find a 4th goal here with 13 minutes left of this away leg. And up to the 85-minute mark, we do have position here on the halfway line, looking to just kick on late in this one and potentially find one more goal, which might put the tie to bed. And Fredrik Larsson might get a chance here, albeit that's a good slide tackle there from one of the BATE defenders. Does go out for a corner though, and we can be quite dangerous from these at the near post. Mariano puts this one in. Ramadan gets his head on the end of that, just comes off the underside of the crossbar. Still 3-1 with only a few minutes left here of this away leg. We will just lower the tempo and see if that helps because we haven't actually created too much since going to a higher tempo about halfway through the second half. But we do have one more highlight here just before we do hit the 90-minute mark. Mariano out to Matthews. He tries to pick out Mariano again, but can't quite link up with him, albeit that's a good one here there by Ramadan. And we do get position back here inside the final third of BATE. Fredrik Larsson starts to make his way forward. Good pass there for Meza. Fredrik Larsson back to Meza. Some good link-up play there, and Fredrik Larsson. It's a wonderful bit of play between him and Alejandro Meza, and that is the goal that we were after late in this one. And after getting a little bit of an interesting position in that second half for a little bit there at 2-1, we have rescued it somewhat, and it looks a little bit more accurate to the stats in this game. We have kicked on, and we are now 4-1 up as we do enter injury time thanks to that Fredrik Larsson goal. We'll just wait and see what else happens here in injury time, but that is full time. It was a thoroughly dominant performance from us there in the end. Just that one shot from BATE on target, and that was from one of our mistakes, but in the end a very good performance, and we will take a 4-1 lead back to Iceland. Should be a lead which is more than enough to see us already hopefully make our way through to a Champions League playoff at the start of next week, and we'll come back shortly for that second leg. And just cutting back before we do get into that second leg, because somewhat unexpectedly, I'm pretty sure this usually happens before we do get into the Champions League playoff, but it's a little bit earlier this season. We do have our youth intake. It's a little bit of an average one, not quite as good as what we did have last season, albeit as you can see there, a lot of players with 3-star potential. Of a quick look at some of these guys, got Gisley there, who has a decent looking goalkeeper potentially, albeit only 1-star current ability. Then we've got Palmason there, 1-star current ability, 3-star potential for a midfielder. We go down more. Elmar Torfason is a centre-back, also with that 1-star current ability, 3-star potential. Wilhelm Gardason looks like a little bit more of a promising current prospect, 1.5-star current ability, 3-star potential. He is a right winger, so that could be quite useful for future homegrown club players for European registration. The same applies for Haralda Palsson, who is a right midfielder as well. So unfortunately, that's 2 players in the same position, but that could be quite useful in the future if they do kick on to that potential. And another one with that 3-star potential, albeit 1-star current ability, another goalkeeper there in Martin and Golfson. We make our way down this list a little bit further once it stops glitching out on me a little bit. We've got a few more players there who are on that 3-star potential, and that is Svein Ivarsson. He is a central midfielder as well. So there's quite a few players there with 3-star potential. We'll probably snap most of them up, but not quite as many promising talents as we did have last year when we had a few players with that 4-star potential, but a lot of solid players that we might have for the future here in the save, albeit they'll probably need to kick on a little bit further than that 3-star potential that they currently have. But on the whole, not a great youth intake, but a little bit that we can work with in those players that we have got this season. Hopefully, while we are here, being just one day before the second leg against BATE, we will go and check in with what is happening in the other ties involving Icelandic teams here in European qualifying. In that head-to-head tie in the Europa League, HK do take a 2-1 lead back to their home ground, so they are in the box seat to be the team that does at least guarantee themselves a group spot in a European competition for this upcoming season and down to the Conference League. And Nuts KR do hold a 2-1 lead so far against Kukesi. So far it is going good for Icelandic teams here in this third qualifying round, but yet again no injuries going into the second leg of this tie here against BATE, and we'll come back shortly and hopefully continue where we left off with that 4-1 lead. And we have a highlight immediately from the kickoff here in the second leg back in Iceland with this 4-1 lead. We are putting out exactly the same squad as we have done so far for European qualification, and already find our way inside the BATE half. Zimmerman nearly losing out on the ball there, but we do keep it and try and get something going here down this right-hand side, albeit playing it back to Thiago Polo. And now we do look to play out from the back and switch out to that left-hand side. Might have an early chance here to build on that 4-1 advantage. Fredrik Larsson just on the edge of the box, tries to play that back there for Satole, is cleared by the BATE defence, exactly the same uniforms as in that first leg, but we do get the ball back from that clearance and look to slowly build up. This is a long highlight. Hopefully that means that we are about to open the scoring here at home and can continue this nice little run of recent form going of winning all of our qualification games, and that is going to be an own goal by BATE. Zimmerman trying to square that, I believe, for Benjamin Rubio, and it is one of their defenders who slides that into the back of his own net. Some good sustained pressure from us there, nice and early in this home league, and we now take a 5-1 lead, and that should absolutely make sure we will make our way through to a Champions League playoff. In the end, I don't think that ball from Zimmerman was going to find a teammate, but nonetheless, it's an own goal, and we are now 5-1 up in the second leg. And up to the 10-minute mark, it is a free kick here for BATE, albeit they are probably already beaten in this one. They need 4 goals just to get this even now with that score that we do have both from the first leg and that early own goal, which they did gift us here back in Iceland. But we do get possession back here, having to play out yet again from the back. Thiago Polo plays it out to Caviglia. He has got quite a few assists so far in this tie, but still in amongst our defence is the ball. But now we get it out to Alejandro Meza, up to Fredrik Larsson. Little black flick there for Alejandro Meza. De Prisco back out to Meza, taking our time here, but usually that does mean something is going to come of it. Benjamin Rubio back over there for Zimmerman, who somewhat helped with that first goal, and this time he is going to get an assist. Squares that nicely for Benjamin Rubio. A simple tap in into the bottom left corner, and it is now 6-1, 10 minutes into the second leg of this third qualifying round tie. We are all over BATE here, looking very similar to when we took them on in the Conference League knockouts a few seasons ago. 2-0 up on the day, 10 minutes into the second leg. And only 4 minutes later, we do have a goal kick, yet again looking to build out from the back here and to pile the misery on our Belarusian opposition, as they haven't really fired a shot so far, apart from that one that we did gift them in that first leg, which did make things interesting at the time. Nice ball there for Benjamin Rubio. Good flick on yet again from Zimmerman. He is looking very dangerous in the second leg so far, but a good save there by Chakan in goal there for BATE. Thiago Polo gets his head on the end of that corner straight at their goalkeeper. Still 2-0 on the day, and just shy of the 20-minute mark now, we do have a free kick, so continuing to pile the pressure on BATE here, and Zimmerman plays that forward for Rubio. Can he slot it away this time? He can't, but the rebound falls to Fredrik Larsson. He picks up his 14th goal of the season. It is now 3-0 here before the 20-minute mark of the second leg, and 7-1 on aggregate. We are going to be absolutely cruising our way through to the Champions League playoff. Another nice ball there from Zimmerman. Benjamin Rubio's shot is nicely saved there from Chakan, but the deflection falls right into the path of Fredrik Larsson. 3-0 at the 20-minute mark of the second leg. And up to the 38-minute mark for our next highlight, still holding that nice 3-0 lead on the day, 6 goals up on aggregate, and yet again having to play out from the back as we do pass that back to Husavik. Hopefully no shockers from him like he did produce in yesterday's episode where he did give Sarajevo a goal, but so far looking a little bit more solid defensively in this first half of the second leg so far. Another nice ball there for Zimmerman. He is in a great run of form. Can he tuck that away? His shot goes just wide. Still 3-0, 5 minutes shy of halftime. And that is halftime in the second leg. We are in an extremely comfortable position now. Should be safe enough to make our way through to a Champions League playoff. We are going to make a few changes here at halftime. We had a few players just on a bit of a heavy workload and a little bit injury prone going into this one. So we will take them off at halftime with this game fairly well under control. What we can do is bring on Maurizio Goffi for Caviglia and also Chat Zarkas. He can play in the DM role so he can come on for Galtason. That makes sure those two players won't pick up any injuries here in the second half, but very comfortable. 3-0 up on the day, 7-1 up on aggregate. And 5 minutes into the second half, we have our first highlight of it is a goal kick here for BATE, but Chat Zarkas does win a header for us. Hopefully he gets a little bit of game time here as he has fallen down the pecking order in terms of left back behind the likes of Jorge, but good versatility means he is a quite useful bench option. We are back on the attack and he is on the ball here for Goffi. His mate who's just come off the bench to Tole puts that out to Alejandro Meza. Squares it for Benjamin Rubio. Great chance, but hits that straight at Chican. Still 3-0 at the 52-minute mark. And up to the 64-minute mark for our next highlight is a throw-in here for BATE, and they look to get something going here in the second leg. Interesting to note behind my head, there has been a red card for Midtjylland. They are still 2-0 behind on aggregate, so it looks like we might be taking on Hammarby at the start of next week in a Champions League playoff, but we are back in possession. Nice ball yet again for Benjamin Rubio. This time he just chips the goalkeeper, doesn't put too much weight on it this time, and he gets his 22nd goal of the season. There's red cards going around everywhere in the other ties, but we are now 4-0 up with 25 minutes left here of the second leg on the day, and 8-1 up on aggregate. BATE are being completely blown out here as Benjamin Rubio puts that away in the bottom left corner. And up to the 71-minute mark, we are going to make our last substitution. Duplisco down to a red heart yet again. Ramadan to come off the bench. 20 minutes left, 7 goals up on aggregate. And up to the 78-minute mark, it is a goal kick here for BATE. So to create something here in the second league. Yet another red card there in one of the other ties, albeit that's a little bit messy at the back from us. And it's a decent chance here for BATE, and it is Stanislas Belenkie, I believe is how you would pronounce that one, who slots that away into the bottom left corner. So yet again, just a little bit of a lapse from us there in defence. We've had a few of those so far in Champions League qualifying, albeit that one not going to cost us too much, but in the end, a bit sloppy at the back there from both Chat Zarkas and from Ramadan, and they do get a goal back here, BATE, but we are still 8-2 up on aggregate. And 5 minutes left of this one, we are going to be making our way through extremely comfortably to that Champions League playoff. 6 goals up here, but we have one more attack. Can we get the scoreline out to 9-2? And they're going to pick up a second yellow card here to Kutsenko. So the curse of red cards that's happening here in this third qualifying round will continue. If you're a BATE fan, you wait to see that as we are up 8-2 as we enter injury time of the second leg. And I think that is how things are going to finish here. A very, very comfortable performance over both legs. Not quite as dominant in this one stats-wise as we were in the first leg away from home, but we pick up exactly the same scoreline. No concerns injury-wise or suspension-wise, so happy days. And that means that we do have a Champions League playoff to look forward to at the start of next week, and we'll come back shortly and check in on who that will be against, as well as the other results for the other Icelandic teams. And here are the other results from the Champions side of qualifying for the Champions League. We pick up one of the most comprehensive victories in this round alongside RB Salzburg, and we'll be taking on, somewhat surprisingly, Hammarby of Sweden after they picked up that 2-0 win in the away leg, the second leg, ending up finishing 0-0, but that does mean that we take on the Swedish outfit, which we did beat in the third qualifying round of the Champions League last season, so that should be a team that we can get past to make our way through to the Champions League group stage for the third straight season. A 3-star reputation club, so exactly the same as what we are, a team that we did defeat last season, as I said. So I'd like to think we're in a pretty good position here to be making the Champions League group stage draw for our third straight season. And from there, it will be interesting to see how we do get on. Very similar looking team to what they did have in Champions League qualifying last season. So I'd like to think that is a team that we can get one over yet again and make our way through to that Champions League draw. But we'll just go forward a few more days and check in on how the other Icelandic clubs have got on in the lower UEFA competitions. And we've gone forward a few days. All the ties have been completed in the third qualifying round of all the European competitions. Interesting to see, of course, now that our transfer window is closed, we are starting to get some quite big offers for Benjamin Rubio. Of course, we're not going to accept them because we can't replace him, but we're getting some very, very large bids now for our star striker and club captain, 3.6 million this time from AC Milan. But of course, these offers coming in after our transfer window is closed means that we are just going to avoid selling him until it does open back up, probably after the end of this upcoming European season, albeit not too sure if we could find someone for that price who could replace the quality that Benjamin Rubio does have, albeit we have a very able backup these days in Fabio Mariano as well, which means we're just a little bit deeper in that position than we have been over the last few seasons. But now time to check in on how the other Icelandic teams did get on in their European qualifying. We'll have a look at which team did make their way through to the playoff of the Europa League, and it is Fylkir, which is very, very surprising. So something must have gone terribly wrong there for HK in the third qualifying round. If we go back, they lost the second leg 2-0 at home. So Fylkir will go through 3-2 on aggregate, which I'm not too sure if I'm that happy about, because I do think HK are a stronger team and they take on Nordsjælland, who are from Denmark. So it'll be interesting to see how Fylkir do get on against those guys. And now we drop down to the Conference League, and Nuts KR did hold on to that 1-goal advantage, so they will be joining HK in the fourth qualifying round of that competition. So we still could get 3 other teams in European group stages alongside us. Of course, Fylkir with that win over HK, the worst that they can do is drop down into the group stages of the Conference League if they do lose that tie in that Europa League playoff. But our 2 teams down here, HK, have got a very tough draw. They take on Freiburg of Germany, a team which did make their way into the later stages of the Europa League last season. So that is probably going to be very, very tough for HK, while Nuts KR also have a tough tie, not as tough, albeit, as they do take on AEK of Greece. So it might end up being just us and Fylkir potentially in the group stages of European competition this season. But hopefully Nuts KR could upset AEK. Not too sure if we hold out much hope for HK. That's a little bit disappointing from them, as I would have thought they would have been able to beat Fylkir there and would have had a decent chance against Danish opposition in that Europa League playoff, but not looking too good for the Icelandic teams apart from us in their fourth qualifying round playoff ties for the various European competitions. But that will do it for today's episode, where we did get past BATE and made our way through to yet another Champions League playoff, taking on Hammarby at the start of next week. Hopefully we can make the group stages for the 3rd straight season. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the save here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until the start of next week for that Champions League playoff against Hammarby, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.